one thing I always appreciated about Anthony's videos is, just because I've seen more of them, is that he will say, here's the encounter I had with my own commentary, because even someone who has practiced in it as he is like, here's everything I did wrong. Let me talk about it. Here's what I should have asked. Here's what I wanted to do. Like I constantly have those thoughts about things I posted today. It's like, why'd I say that? Why'd I write that headline or whatever it was?
I don't know a single content creator who has ever looked at their history of work and been like, yes, this is perfect. Everything I said was great.
If you are not completely cringing at everything you've ever made, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, it's hard for me to look at stuff I said last week sometimes. Like it's I don't know. It's 100%. Hard. It's hard.
Yeah. But I will hate this video after we hang up.
I know,
that's how it works.
I know. Yeah, but like I agree with you there. It's like, we don't talk about this stuff enough anyway. Even if it's not your best work, even if it's not something that you're gonna write.
One difference, sorry to butt in there. One difference to me is I still have those thoughts. Yeah. Like you said, content creators have those thoughts. But one thing that I think I'm much better at is figuring out what things are going to be issues and dealing with it before it goes out into the public. Things that I thought would be interesting lines that when I look back at it, it's like, you know what, that is not going to go over the way I think it's going to go over. Yeah. And I can at least predict when something's going to be controversial because I'm prepared for it. Some things, if it goes like controversial, it's like, oh man, I didn't even think anyone would see it that way. Yeah. I'm a lot better now at saying, you know what, if we put this in there, they're going to take it this way. Let me try to address that. Things I'll find hilarious, or I would make a joke about if it was me and you talking in private. It's like, you know what, if I put that out there right now, as we're talking and doing this, not everyone's going to take that comment the same way. And I don't mean it to be like that. So I want to watch myself. I have a lot more of those thoughts now. And that doesn't mean that everything I put out there is going to be without criticism. But it's like, I think I'm better at predicting what people are going to say now.
I want to deep dive because we got a couple minutes left on the show here. And maybe we can spend some of that deep diving on this because, people, man, everybody's on the internet now. Everybody has a hot take. Everybody is posting stuff on Twitter or Facebook or whatever.
And has a whole history of it.
Yeah. Like
running for office.
Right. Like I grew up, I'm just young enough to where I have pictures of me and posts I've made as like a teenager onward. Yeah. And even, I'm already embarrassed of that, let alone the people who are even younger than me who have been on since they were like 8, and
I have archives of stuff I've written about religion. Granted, I was an atheist, but going back to 2006, which is when I started doing it online. And oh man, again, I think stuff I wrote last week was cringeworthy in some ways. And I had to figure out, like, do I want to just delete everything before a certain point? Because when would that point be? Because it could very well just be, you know what, after 2 hours, just banish it from the internet. But it's up there. And there's stuff in there that I would never say today. Things that I would today find sexist, misogynistic, which I wasn't thinking, but I know it's coming off that way now. Yeah. It's like, I just hope anyone can see, like, well, that's the date of it. I hope you don't see it anymore. I've learned from it.
The structures that we're complicit in with our posting is different too. So it's like, if you're part of a movie, like Ace Ventura, right? I was thinking about this recently. Okay. Yes. Ace Ventura does not age well. All right. I dressed up as Ace Ventura like a couple years ago for Halloween, and I'm like, oh, I hadn't seen this movie since I was a kid.
And I watched that movie when I was a kid, and I enjoyed it when I was a kid. Yeah. And you're right, I haven't thought about it until whatever anniversary it was a little bit ago. Right. And then I saw the takes on it. It's like, holy crap, that is transphobic. I didn't think about that when I was a kid watching it.
Yeah. And so like, but if you're a grip on that movie, if you're a camera person B on that movie, like I think most of us can agree, like your level of complicity is kind of not as high, but like now, right, with the internet, everybody's you can make your own channel and do your own thing and do everything by yourself. And like the level of responsibility there is so different, isn't it? Like, and so I think there's two things I think about that. One, it's like, okay, it does make being part of different organizations or just being part of different collectives harder. If you're part of a community that is, because look, man, the atheist community, look, you go back to stuff like 10 years ago or stuff before I was a part of it. I mean, like I
work I work by myself now.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, people said, and like, but also being individuals online, you have to figure out, how do you grow? How do you learn to change? And like, how do you know when you've changed? These are the questions of our times, I think, right?
I joke about this. I don't really read the comments on my website or YouTube in general, because there are a lot of them, and that's maybe a humble brag or something, but there's a lot. I can't go through all of them.
Yeah.
But I occasionally read them, and they do help me because they point out things that either I missed. There have been times when I said something that I totally wasn't saying, but they pointed it out and they called me out on it. Mm-hmm. And if nothing else, it's like, all right, I will make a mental note to never do that again. And I hope I don't.
Yeah.
But that's, to me, like, you're right. I don't have anyone checking my work per se. I don't work for an organization. I'm not accountable to anybody else. But I do try to be accountable to myself and the people who are reading it and who come back with legit criticism. And that's the upside is, I hope you are seeing the best version of me now. Yeah. But yeah, man, there is so much crap that I've put out that I hope I've gotten better at. And that's the up and downside of it is, there's this whole history of crap. But hopefully people like our age, younger, will learn to judge people by where they're at, how they've changed, and not just something dumb they did a while ago. Because, man, there's so many YouTube people who have been like, I'm shutting down my channel because I did some horrible stuff.
Yeah.
I was popular way back when. It's like, yeah, that was horrible. But also, you're not that person now. I don't know that I would hold that against you as much as I do.
Yeah. There's literally a video of me talking about how I'm a Christian and how I believe in God. I think about that. And it's like, oh, I was 19 years old when I said that. I am not the person I was at 19 years old. And the world wasn't the same. When I was 19 years old. Like, I mean, I should have been more aware for the age that I was, but like, I was ignorant on a lot of stuff. But
we all are. Like, we all have our blind spots. And the question is, how do we change that? And again, the up and downside of doing the sort of thing we do, which is very public, is that when you get called out, it is public.
Yeah.
But that's you change. It's a good thing for me that I learned that stuff. Maybe I learned it the hard way, but I learn it. I hope I improve on it.
It's good to have an honest conversation about it, not to make excuses for anything that we've ever, we regret, but more so just to figure out like, hey, we're also trying to figure out this world that we live in now.
Right.
Because I don't know. It's complicated, man. It's complicated. And like, if we held to the fire sometimes of YouTube commenters, the same that we do comic creators, like it's a different story, right? But we do have a responsibility on our platforms and stuff. And I think about that. I try my best, but gosh, it is hard. And I don't know. We could talk about that all day, obviously. But just for the last couple minutes here, I just want to talk to you about, any upcoming stuff that you're doing, any stuff you're excited about, what's going on in the world of Hemant Mehta.
Oh, I wish I could tell you there's a million things going on, but right now we're all in that same rut. I've been having a lot more fun playing around with YouTube a lot more than I have been. So hopefully putting out more videos that way. It's up on the screen. You can see the Twitter and YouTube channel. And you know what? One thing that I often try to do is I will try different projects. I'm working on one right now. I'm not ready to say anything yet, but it's one of those like, you know what? We'll stick it on the wall. Maybe it'll help out some people. And if it doesn't, I'll abandon it and we'll try something else. But if you're interested in anything that I do, friendlyatheist.com is where I post pretty much everything. And YouTube is YouTube. Go to Friendly Atheist on YouTube.